would be me. That would be Marlon.
I'm impressed. Jake was supposed to get on a plane at 4 o'clock from New York this afternoon. Good luck. I wish him good luck.
Yeah, my sister
That's
works
what
for
he was
Southwest.
He was
It's a
flying-
nightmare.
He was flying JetBlue to New York.
Yeah, well, everybody from Southwest is trying to jump on JetBlue.
Ooh.
She said she was stuck for 3 days in the Midwest, and they didn't even know she was available, just sitting in a hotel. The whole infrastructure computer system went down.
I saw that on TV last night. They said
Yeah.
the computer system is like antiquated.
It's-
It couldn't track people or bags or anything.
Well, it tracks everything, and then what else was happening? Prior to that, when it started going bad, all the people that were flying, their bags never made it on the planes at all.
So they got there with no bags.
Yeah, so like, let's say you're left here and go to California for 2 weeks. You better start buying some clothes. And they didn't know where it was.
It's very unsettling. Very.
Well, she said they waited for it to crash. They didn't want to put money in the infrastructure.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
It's bad business.
Yeah. How much is it's got to be costing millions a day?
Absolutely.
Easily.
Actually investigating Southwest Airlines. Open up an investigation as to why they did all this.
I would.
Yeah.
Well, it's money. Is what
It is,
they did.
sure. Sure it is.
They didn't want to spend the money.
The optics are bad. Not good for business.
Yep. Sound too loud over there?
Sounds encouraging.
Testing. I have to bring this closer to me. Testing, testing.
There you go. Sound great, man.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I have it low. These are low.
Okay.
I'll
No,
wait till
I'm.
people get in here. I might turn them up a little, and then we'll go from there. I'm probably loud enough, so I won't need it. Nah, just talking to the mic. You're fine.
Did you turn your heat on at your house?
Yeah. Well, when it gets below a certain temperature, my wife is basically turn it on, turn it on, turn it on.
We didn't for the first couple of nights, and we did the other night. And all of a sudden, you know what happens when you haven't.
Yeah, the smoke started coming.
Our fire, and they were going to call the fire department. We had to call the security thing. I said, no, not on fire. I think one of the recommendations, open the windows and then see what happens. But there's that burning smell. I don't think we've used it in 2 years.
In my old house, when before I had to replace the AC unit, it was a gas furnace, so you would see it fire up.
Really? That's scary.
Yeah, it would be scary. It would heat well, really
Oh,
well.
I'm sure.
It's almost like lighting a grill. You see that you would smell the gas a little bit, and then you'd see that you hear and then poof, 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 poof.
Yeah. I couldn't see any smoke, but I could smell the burning elements that were charged up for the first time in a while. So interesting to watch. Fortunately, we called the security company before they called the fire department.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was good.
So I take it you haven't turned it on in a while.
Not for a year. I think the first time was
Hold on, guys.
at least a year.
All right. Okay, you ready? Call to order. Time is now 6:04 p.m. Wednesday, December 28th, 2022. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance using the flag in the front of the room. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins,
Here.
Vice Mayor DeVille,
Here.
Mayor Jacobs,
Here.
we have quorum.
All right, before we do additions and withdrawals, these chairs are very comfortable. They make such a huge difference in here. Just had to add that. Thanks. All right, additions, deletions, and withdrawals to the agenda.
Yeah, I would like to add the 2023 State of the Region Annual Awards added to the agenda, 20.3 possibly.
No, we'll move that to sixteen. 16.1.
Mayor.
Yeah.
The EPA is here, and they would like to provide us an update on the Superfund site cleanup.
Okay, let's move that to the very top here so we don't make them wait. We'll do that under presentations. Call it 5.1 EPA. This is 61. All right, anything else?
None for me.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the agenda with the added item.
I second.
Roll call.
Motion made by Vice Mayor DeVille, seconded by Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins. Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor DeVille,
Yes.
Mayor Jacobs,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, 5.1 EPA.
Thank you. I'm not actually with EPA. I'm, if you can go to slide 2, please. My name is Bob Rule. I am with DeMaximus. We work for the respondents. We are working with EPA and FDEP for the cleanup of the site. We are
Okay.
project coordinators, so we're managing all of the activities at the site. You can go to the next, please. Site location, you're fairly familiar. I've been told that we need to keep this brief, so I'll keep moving. It's quarter of a mile off of I-95, Park Warehouses. That's where all the work is. Essentially 7-acre facility inside the yellow box on that slide. Next, please. So it's a unique site in that US EPA, the respondents, and FDEP are all working collaboratively to get the project done. US EPA is funding the remedial design. Again, we're implementing the design. We're going to develop the design. And I believe the Florida legislature has allocated funds for 2024 for FDEP to actually implement the remedy as we get the design completed. Next slide, please. So the preferred remedy, we're going to remove basically one trailer and replace it from the Bamboo Lakes Mobile Home Park, as well as relocation of businesses and tenants inside the warehouses themselves, essentially the red ones. Those may not come down. We're actually implementing a pre-design investigation to kind of limit the horizontal and vertical extents of the contamination. So we may not take all of these down, but we'll be relocating those. We'll be demoing some of the buildings. We're going to be doing an in situ stabilization to make sure that none of the materials that remain in the soil get into groundwater, move around, that they're basically contained in place, and it makes it safe for the environment and for the local community. Institutional controls, deed restrictions on the property to make sure that we install drinking water wells, things like that. And then we will do long-term monitoring, which consists of making sure that we come out and check those deed restrictions, make sure nobody's installed wells, to make sure that the remedy is still effective and doing what it's supposed to do. Next, please. Activities. Like I said, we're in the process of the pre-design investigation. We have filled some of the data gaps. We went back and looked at some of the data. We've reconciled that, and what we're doing now is some ground penetrating radar, GPR, around the facility to locate utilities, to make sure that there's no subsurface impediments to what we're going to be doing, which is the in situ solidification. We'll also bring a drill rig out, and we're going to take some subsurface cores again to try to determine vertical extent of the contamination. How deeply does it go into the groundwater table? Does it go into the groundwater, or is it superficial? And then further down the road, we'll be developing a 30% design, which is essentially the meat of the design itself. That's where we'll start putting the specifications together so that we can go out for procurement for contractors, and then ultimately a 95 and 100% when US EPA and FDEP approve the design. Those will come into play. Next, please. So the future activities. This isn't really activities, but the work that we're going to be doing on the site does not preclude any future redevelopment of the site. So if we demo, let's say, 3 buildings, it does not preclude rebuilding those in terms of getting them back into serviceable operation for the owner. We're actually working with the property owners right now, collaboratively trying to we can do things like develop utility corridors as we solidify the soils to make it easier for them to install so that they're not digging through the mass. Looking at final grades to make sure that our surface water drains appropriately to tie in with requirements that we have here in the town, as well as the finish materials of the site itself, whether it's gravel, whether it's grass, or all asphalt as they go through. Next, please. So current schedule, we're implementing the PDI. It's going to run through February. Also, the 30% design will finish up sometime late February. In March, we'll be working with FDEP and US EPA to get an approval of that. Once we do, we'll prepare the pre-final design, 95%, which is the June timeframe. That will give FDEP ample opportunity to make sure that they have procured their contractor by February of 2024, which is when the funds were allocated. Next, please. See, very quick. I know I went through this quickly, and I appreciate your all's time and letting us come. Really, the purpose of this is to let you know that things are occurring at the site. We are moving on. We're not stagnant. We'll be working with FDEP and US EPA to make sure that things are going smoothly. Happy to come back and talk with you again as we get further along. Should you want that individually, I can do the same thing. But wanted to let you know that things are moving along. It's not stopped progress.
I live about 1,000 feet or 1,500 feet away from that site. Have they found out that the contamination has stopped spreading, or I mean, is it
so off-site
ongoing?
contamination is very limited. It's just not mobile. It has moved, I guess, a little bit over Carolina Street, I believe several years ago, there was a removal in the Bamboo Trailer Park. And I think, our current plan is to do, some sampling in there to make sure that there's no more that has to be removed, or if there is, to remove that.
I see. So you don't, so there wasn't a time frame last time somebody was there and actually did an inspection of the contamination?
So we're actively doing that now.
And now-
For our PDI with the drill rig, we're gonna be out taking samples to see where things go. Again, working with FDEP and US EPA on those locations where they go.
Okay, how will we get updated on what's going on?
Michael Miller, Marcia Nail with US EPA, those are probably the two primary folks. They've been with the project, well, Mike's been with the project now for 25, 30 years. Marcia is with US EPA. They are leading the charge, so to speak, on the cleanup. If you have questions, you can certainly shoot them a note. You can call me.
Okay.
But again, I'm happy to come back anytime that you all might want updates.
All right, thank you.
Marlon, can you, are you awake? Can you email this presentation to all three of us, please?
Of course.
Yeah, this thing has been stagnant for decades, and I'm glad to see some progress. I drive by a couple times a week just to see what's going on. Notice some people out there actually doing something now. So that's it's a lot for the last 4 years I've been here.
Yes.
I've seen more activity in the last 2-3 weeks than I have in 4 years. So I'm glad it's getting cleaned up. Just keep us up to date. And we got your contact, so we'll probably reach out to you individually and maybe have you come in a couple months and give us an update.
Happy to.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
All right, reports of committees and staff. 6-1, Chief Kane. He's not here, unable to attend. I did review his report. It's on par with every other month that we have. 156 calls. Let me pull it back up. 159 calls of service. Service calls 5, medical calls 104, alarm calls 3, and 39 vehicle accidents and 8 fires. Total of 159, which is average for the town. All right, building department, building official Nunez, 7.1 building department report, November 2022.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Clerk Commissioner, Miguel Nunez, Building Official. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Building Official Miguel Nunez. This is for the month of November 2022. As I always start, we're almost in the 2022 calendar year. And I always said the building department staff continue to excel in our internal and external customer service. That means, in my opinion, we're the best in Broward County. No offense to the other building departments. By the numbers we have received so far, on the current month, it was 126 permit issued, 43 commercial, 83 residential, 92 closed permits, 326 inspections combined. That includes 141 structural, mechanical 67, electrical 38, plumbing 80. We have 160 visitors in our customers in our counter. We have the same amount, 48 double permit fees, and we have an 3 additional applicants for the amnesty program. In regards to the amnesty program, we already processed 1 additional reimbursement, which it was sent to the finance department in the amount of $1,750, which is the maximum that the program pays back. That address is 2308 Charles Road. So that solved the problem. In the revenue during the month of November, we collected $56,217. And in the regards to the large project, the most notable that we would like to add is O'Reilly Auto Parts. We already issued the permit. They're ready to start in January. We'll have a meeting on the site on January 9th. and we are excited to start that particular project. That's next to the Dollar Family Dollar right there. Also, I'm glad to inform you that Magnolia Townhomes, right here in 52nd Avenue, already applied for permit on all buildings, and they already have the first cycle of reviews, and we're waiting for the next one. So we're moving real fast. The same thing happens to Wawa, and the hospital is moving real fast. That's basically with the building department. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Anything?
None.
No question.
Okay.
I'm gonna be presenting for Ms. Ramirez, just not here today.
All right, code enforcement, 8 code enforcement officer Ramirez, and we have building official Nunez reporting 4.
Yes. In your report, you see the detailed report that we have. Many of those reports, or the items that was presented by created by the code enforcement. But as a summary, we have on the supplemental code enforcement liens, we have 9 that was issued this month. Notice of violation 24, notice of formal hearing 39, final orders 16 final orders on the last magistrate, amend the final orders 3, and affidavit of non-compliance 16, and the compliance 47, and 6 order of abatement. That means reduction of fines. That's in regards to the reports. One thing that I would like to report is that the January 18 is scheduled the next special magistrate. Obviously, we have our customary service to our persons that have been cited. Now, in regards to the compliance before and after photos, I know that's also you guys like the most because the upgrade and the advances that we have in our town. If you go into more there. If you look at that building, that's 3680 West Hallandale Beach Boulevard. If you notice the disrepair, the fence, the parking lot and everything, that was in disrepair before. And if you look at the after photos, you're gonna notice that completely different. Please move. Next photo, next group. And that's what you see. Now it's resorted, new fence, new parking lines, and that's seal coated. So that way you see a complete difference of the Haitian tire on that particular area. On the next one, that's the outside area for border with West Park, which is 4901 Southwest 27th Avenue, Pembroke Park. You notice on the first line, I cannot move it myself, so thank you. Sorry. On the first line, you see the debris and everything associated with that, and the dirtiness that is on that particular road. But if you look at the after on the same, as of November 21st, 2022, keep going. Thank you. Next, don't be shy. Come on. Next.
Sorry.
Next. Thank you. You see the difference on the road and how clean and how well organized it is. That was as of November 21st, 2022. And finally, I would like to present the 3190 West Hallandale Beach Boulevard. This is our friend Frenchie's. If you look at the way there was before, the parking lot in disrepair and not very well maintained. If you look at the next photos as of November 3rd, 2022, you're gonna notice a totally different picture. Clean, organized, all well maintained, and all well marked at this point in time. And finally, we have the next one, which is 3321 Southwest 56th Avenue in Pembroke Park. This photo was taken in October 12, 2022. As you can see, no sod, everything was not well maintained on that particular property. This is on borderline to West Park. But if you look at the next set of photos, you're gonna notice a complete different picture. Now we have a nice, beautiful residential area. And that has been created. and cited and enforced by our core compliance or code enforcement group. And kudos to them. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Questions?
No, I don't have any.
Good job.
Good job.
No questions.
Thank you.
Thank you to code enforcement.
Yes.
All right. 9, Finance Department, Finance Director Brown.
Good evening, everyone. I'm gonna keep on the mask.
Keep your cooties over there, please.
Try my best to keep everything. Today I'll be going over the Town of Pembroke Park revenue and expenditure reports. Keep in mind that the numbers you will see here today are through November 30th. Can you guys hear me clearly? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the numbers you're looking at today are through November 30th. As the numbers for December mature, I'll be giving a first quarter report in mid-January to report on the first 3 months of the fiscal year. So going to the agenda, we'll be talking about the general fund, the building department, sewer fund, and stormwater fund. We'll also go over the bank account balances. Next slide, please. All right, thank you. As you can see, this is a general fund outlook, and it contains numbers for 2022 amended budget, 2022 actuals, 2023 adopted budget, and 2023 actuals as of November 30th. And I'll be really brief. So going through, we've collected ad valorem taxes in the amount of $777,000, 554 cents. That represents 10% of what was budgeted. Sales and use tax, $81,000, that's 18%. Franchise fees, we've collected $140,000, that's 15%. Utility service taxes, we've collected $223,000, that is 19%. Licenses and permits, $21,000. Intergovernmental revenue, $69,000. Charges for services, $108,000, and fines and forfeitures for $21,000. In total, we've collected $1.4 million through November 30th, 2022, and that equates to 11% collected, based on the budget. So if you compare our revenues, if you compare the revenues to the expenditures, you will see that we're about $500,000 less as far as revenues collected, and that's okay. Considering this is the first quarter, we've only talked about November. In December, when I report these numbers, you'll see an increase in ad valorem taxes, which we've not collected. These funds usually come in, mid-November, mid-December, so that's nothing out of the ordinary. No red flags are raised there. Going forward, we have the mayor and commission at $21,000. So far expended through the year, that's 4%. We're at administration, $107,000, that's 11%. Finance is $66,000 at 14%. Legal is at $38,000, that's 9%. That does not include the recent payouts, which you will receive, it will be reflected in the next report that I give. Planning, we have a little bit over $1,800. Information technology, a little bit over $63,000. Non-departmental, a little over $96,000. Police at $730,256. They are also at 21%. So if you do the math through November, we should be at 17%. And the reason that police is over is simply because of the workers' comp and the insurances. These are things that are paid quarterly and the police have the largest share of that with all the general fund departments, considering the size of their department. So as the year progresses, you'll see that, we'll somewhat catch up to the threshold, but certainly no red flags there. Fire, we have $641,000. Roads and streets, $842,000. Code compliance, $47,000. And parks and recreation, we're at $70,000. So we've spent a total of $1.9 million. That's 14%. And like I said, with every department, workers' comp is paid in full. So we have 25% of our total workers' comp already paid for, and that's reflected in these numbers. So if we were to, just pull that out to the 17% threshold that we are now, everything aligns perfectly. So we're in good shape. Moving forward to the building department. As of today, or as of November 30th, 2022, they've collected 231,000, with the bulk of it being in the license and permits. They're at 26%, and if you do the math, we're at 17%. That's about 9% above the threshold. That's a really good sign. They're showing that the building department is healthy and they're generating, revenue. And considering that we're only about 10, these numbers only reflect 10 weeks in, that's a really, really good sign for the building department. So kudos to Miguel and Lucy there. Personnel services, we've expended $60,690. Operating, $54,000. Capital, $0. So we are about $115,000 revenues over expenditures, and that's always a good sign. The building department has been really healthy with positive fund balances in consecutive years. Excuse me. Next, we'll go over the sewer fund. As you can see, we've collected $407,536, and I would say 99% of that came in through charges for services, and these are direct payments to residents for water, businesses for water, things like that. Next, we have personnel services, $44,000. We have operating expenses at $158,000, and we have capital expenses at $42,000. So far, we've collected $407,000, and we've expended $245,000. It's really good. Both sewer and stormwater are usually. This is the trend that we like to see: revenues over expenditures as early as possible. Next, we have the stormwater fund revenue and expense summary. Stormwater, so far we've collected $225,000, and we've spent $63,805. Again, really good sign that we're collecting. The revenues are outweighing the expenses. Again, we'd like to keep our eye on this throughout the year, but I'm confident that this will be the trend throughout the year. Next slide, please. Next is the bank account balances. As you can see, the operating accounts that we have here is negative $4,900 and some change. The reason that this is negative because it is a zero balance account. So the next time I do report this, the goal is for that to be zero. Same with the line that's $482, about 3 or 4 items below. Now going on to the deposit account, we have about $12.4 million. In the local law account, we have about $42.9 thousand. In money market, we have $77,000, and this is one of those accounts. If you look at the history, it hasn't changed much over periods. Same with the cafeteria plan at $12,990. The Synovus advance is at $1.6 million, and of course the police account that we have is $1.6 million also. That's a total of $15.9 million in the Synovus bank account, which is, that's not out of the ordinary, no red flags there. Going on to the Wells Fargo account, our operating account balance is $31,840, and our deposit account is $3.7 million. That's a total of $3,797,840. If you combine both Synovus and the Wells Fargo account, we are at a total of $19,737,107.86. Again, everything is on point. I can't make any estimates or any hard put together any scenarios. We're only about 10 weeks through the year as far as these numbers goes. Through the actual year, we're only about 15 weeks in. So as the year progresses, I'll be able to give you guys more in-depth numbers and how it can end for us at the end of the year. So at this time, I'll have any questions or
I have 2 for you.
concerns.
One, can you make sure these are put into the backup so we can click on it and go through it before the meeting? That way we can prepare for any questions that we have prior to. And second of all, once you're healthy into next year sometime, beginning of next year, I'd like to schedule a meeting with you and JC. We'll get together and go over a couple things.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Any other questions?
No, I don't have anything.
I do. Can you explain to me which one's the local law? Which
The local law, that amount is $42,939. It is a bank account we have in Synovus. That amount has been in there for the longest. I haven't seen any movement there. When every month when it's time to reconcile or journal entry from that account, it's because there's no action, there's no movement.
Yeah, so what's the purpose of it?
The purpose, I'd have to get the reason why it was open for you. I don't have that right here in front of me, but I can certainly get that to you maybe tomorrow.
All right, please.
Any other questions?
That's it.
Thank you for your time. And you could leave if you'd like. I don't think we need you for the rest of the evening. Trying to keep it healthy in here. All right. 10, Police Department, Police Chief Howard. 10.1, Standard Agreement to perform traffic enforcement within gated communities within the town. Staff recommends contracting the town attorneys to prepare agreement with one of our gated communities requesting traffic enforcement.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Clerk Commissioner. Do you want me to do the report for the last 2 months? I haven't had a chance.
I didn't see it on here, but let's call that 10.05 and go ahead with that.
I'll give you the quick for the last 2 months, October and November. Keep in mind, these are all hand tabulated. We just went live with CAD this week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Hopefully, moving forward, I'll be able to provide you with a better product every month. So calls for service October, 660, 997 for November. I should, before moving on, I should outline the fact that these are actual calls for service as well as self-initiated activities combined.
In comparison to last year,
Right.
what did we have last year? Do you know right offhand? I think it was 560 something.
Between 500 and 600.
It's what it seemed to average every single month.
Right.
So what were they again?
660 and 997. And you'll see a stark difference as I move down the list. Reports written in October was 120, 107 in November. Stolen vehicles in October was 4, 1 in November. Traffic stops, we had 48 in October, 125 in November. Citations, 0 for October, because remember, we just opened up. I wanted to give the people a chance to realize that we were here. We wrote 47 in November. Moving warnings, again, 0 in October, 78 in November. Burglaries, 1 each month. Vehicle burglaries, we had 4 in October, 2 in November. Hit and runs, we had 20 in October, and we had 1 in November. Theft can be anything. 9 in October, 1 in November. Assaults, we had 5 in October, 1 in November. Sexual assaults, 1 in October, 0 in November, and we also made an arrest on the 1 in October. Shootings, we had 2 in October, 0 in November. Hit and runs with injuries, we had 1 in October, 0 in November. Traffic accidents, this is the one I'm really keying in on because it's a lot here. 57 in October, we're down to 46 in November. Missing persons, 1 in 1. Arrest, 16 in October, 20 in November. And I can envision that maybe going a little higher. I think overall, our calls for service are going to average between 1,000 and 1,500 a month.
Do you have the number, how many cases were closed out?
I don't have that yet. I can
Okay.
tell you that a lot of our major cases, we had one where $500,000 in ammunition was stolen, not once but twice. We made arrests in Texas on those. The rape was closed with an arrest. But there's some auto thefts and stuff that we haven't closed out yet, but we're trying to get around to all that because we're short-staffed still.
Okay. Any questions?
No, I don't have any.
Yeah, not yet.
All right. 10.1, Standard Agreement to perform traffic enforcement within gated communities within the town. Staff recommends contracting to the town with contracting the town attorney to prepare the agreement with one of our gated communities requesting traffic enforcement.
Yeah, the town attorney's already compiled the agreement, and we're just looking for permission to pursue the agreement with the one gated community and offer the second gated community as well an opportunity to sign the agreement, so that in the event that there's a need for traffic enforcement within the gated community, we're within our legal rights to do that.
Do we need to make any kind of a public announcement to that type of thing where we notify all the gated communities that they have an option?
All right, we have two, and they've both been notified.
There's only those two?
That's it.
Okay.
Any questions?
No.
You guys okay with consent?
Yes.
Put that on consent, please. 10.2, traffic MOU with Broward. Staff recommends entering into this agreement in the event law enforcement actions occur outside the town.
Right. There is a traffic MOU in place countywide. And I think it's in our best interest, because of the size of our town, to enter as well into that agreement in the unlikely event that we perform a traffic function outside our town limits related to our jobs.
Any questions?
Will they go along with it?
Who?
Broward County.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Every other municipality is on board.
Good. Yeah, I saw a long list a few months back.
Vice Mayor?
None.
All right. Consent agenda.
Thank you.
11, planning consultant. This has none today. Human Resources Director Friedman. 12.1, Human Resources Monthly Report Update.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners.
Thank you.
Friedman, Human Resources Director. I want to give you an update regarding our recruitment. We opened up the Executive Assistant to the Town Commission. It was opened up on December 9th. So far I have 38 applicants. I'm gonna assume after the new year, there'll be more applicants coming in. And so I'll start reviewing those. We do have a few good candidates, but once I shorten the list down, I'll go ahead and send them out to you all for interviews. The maintenance worker position in parks, a selection has been made, just pending the drug screening. And the maintenance worker in stormwater has been selected and starts on Tuesday. So with those two positions, public services will be fully staffed.
Excellent.
The planner one position, we received some applicants after the new year. We may move forward with one applicant for an interview. Also with policies and procedures, we just passed a whole bunch of positive policies, so they'll be going into effect. I'm still pending some feedback from the Mayor Commission on the employee handbook. I know there were a lot of changes, so just let me know when you're ready to move forward.
Still going through it.
Got it. I'll be working with the attorneys on the Code of Ordinance, Chapter 19 personnel. It has not been updated in a very long time, so I'll be working on making those updates and bringing those forward. I'm also creating a orientation handbook for new employees to go over policies and procedures. We give them the handbook, but how many truly read it? So I'll be creating some kind of orientation packet and procedure for new officers, everyone going forward. And then I'm working on an employee survey for all employees that are currently here, and then implementing a stay survey for 6 months after employee starts and 1 year after the employee starts. Any other questions from you all?
I got quite a bit. What's going on with the payroll with the police department?
ADP was not prepared for us bringing the police department on board, and the rules are very different for a police department. So I have a call with them tomorrow to start creating, I guess, a separate payroll just for the police department, so all the rules will just apply for them.
Okay. Are things getting corrected with the pay with the guys there?
Oh yeah, they've all been corrected.
All right. Did you put the holiday lunch event together?
The breakfast?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Ray, were you aware there was a holiday lunch event?
I was not aware.
Okay. There,
Well, I was aware after the fact.
I was made aware after the fact too. So it was sent out to everybody except for two people, which were the vice mayor and myself.
It was not sent out to any of the commissioners. It was
Okay,
for
there were
staff
two
only.
people who didn't get it, which was the vice mayor and the mayor.
Did you receive an invitation?
No.
No.
Was he there?
Yeah, he stopped by, but he comes by every morning for the most part, and he just stopped by, got coffee, and left.
Just happened to see.
It was just coincidental.
Just pointing it out.
It was for staff, right?
It was only for staff, yes.
Thank you.
All right. Well, in the future, maybe we should just do stuff for the commission because that doesn't build a team around here. With the toxicity we have in this town, I've been working hard for the last 4 years on trying to build this place back up and bring it together. Doing things like that and separating people out isn't bringing a town together. How many current openings do we have in the town?
Right now we have 4, but 3 in the following week, only 2.
All right. How long have you been here now?
4 months.
What is the town's policy on investigating complaints?
We have a policy where it's supposed to be investigated immediately. There is no time frame because each investigation does take time, and each one is very different. But they are supposed to be investigated in a timely manner.
Since you have been here, how many new complaints have been filed against the former town attorney?
Just the ones that you had brought forward, which was the 4 from previous,
Those all 4 were not from previous. 2 were previous, 2 were recent.
but they were all related to prior.
No, they weren't. They were all individual complaints. 2 of them, 2 of those complaints you have not even investigated.
Town attorney is no longer here, and we were under the understanding that those were going to be tabled, and if the attorney's not here, there's no reason to move forward with any investigations.
All right, so if a complaint's filed against someone, you just told me the policy is that you investigate it right away.
Yes, for
You
a
had
town
2 new
attorney-
complaints filed against the town attorney since you've been here
Yes.
that were not investigated.
Yes, an HR director does not investigate the attorney, the town manager, or the commissioners. And that's why we were going out to get a outside counsel to do the investigations. But we decided to postpone since we knew we were moving forward with the separation.
Okay, so I'm just going to point out I had 4 formal complaints over the last year and a half. 2 since you've been here. 0 were investigated.
I am not at liberty to investigate the attorney.
I'm telling you right now what has happened.
I understand.
That puts me in a position of a victim for this town as the fact I have brought these forward as formal complaints multiple times. The town manager and yourself are responsible for taking care of those when they come forward. I don't expect this to happen again.
Let me ask you something. You're not responsible for the investigation, is that correct?
I am responsible for investigation, but when it comes to a city manager and a town attorney or commissioners, anybody above me, I do not investigate. And I can refer to our attorneys on his experience in previous municipalities when it comes to investigations.
Sir?
Sure. In the context of who investigates who, in the town attorney, the prior town attorney was an employee of the city. We are contract lawyers on behalf of the city. That being said, it is not uncommon in our other locations or other venues where complaints against commissioners, which does happen from time to time, and those that occur against managers or lawyers or other direct reports to the commission. Some cities have finance directors who report directly, commission auditors and such. It is not uncommon to engage an outside attorney investigator for the purposes of preparing a report based upon taking statements and also making recommendations based upon those statements. It is an uncomfortable situation to have staff investigate fellow staff members. Not uncommon to have an outside third party to make those investigations. I'm not familiar with how you've done things in the past here. You know, we kind of looking at things going forward, but you asked a question about what have we done elsewhere, and we actually have engaged. I have, or have been directed by the administration or by the mayor and commission to do so. It's not an uncommon practice to hire third-party lawyers who are either involved with governmental practice or otherwise to look into situations like that in the event that there's enough of facts to go along with that investigation. One more thing, Mayor and Commissioner, if I can. In one of our other cities in recent years, there's a complaint filed against a public official by a staff member. And in that situation, the manager was not capable under the charter, nor could the city attorney or the HR director investigate the commissioner. That also went to a third-party review. So the concept is not dissimilar from what you're describing, Commissioner, or what the mayor has been alluding to as well. But complaints, obviously, the timing of them and the approach to them, I can't speak to what's occurred before I got here, but from the standpoint of timeliness, there's a significant issue involved with timeliness.
I think we need to put a policy in place so this doesn't happen again and complaints don't fall through the cracks, especially when they're as serious as the complaints that were made.
In prior cities, who hires the investigator?
Good question. In one of our cities, which is a smaller city and not unlike this town, the manager engaged the outside lawyer to do the investigation that related to some activities. There have been instances where I have also made those engagements as well as the chief legal officer under that charter, under that city. It depends upon the nature of the issue, whether it's a theft issue or an issue relating to lost funds or things of that type, which might suggest that some staff member or others were involved with a particular approach. But there are some situations where firefighters or others have been investigated in some respects, depending upon there may be a need. Sometimes take it outside the box and look at an objective review. Someone that doesn't have a stake in the outcome, but just simply look at the facts like a police officer would do an investigation, drill down, and make a recommendation, irrespective of who the manager is, who the attorney is, and who the HR director is. Facts will dictate that issue, and again, absent a policy, kind of, we're dancing together, but the answer is it an uncommon practice? No, it's not. We've done it in smaller cities and in larger cities, the results of which have sometimes been very revealing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any more questions?
JC, where are we at with Melissa's contract? Are we?
We're done.
It's done.
It's over and done.
Done with that. Okay, good.
We terminated her last
Yeah,
meeting.
I understand that. Just wondered if there was anything else that had to be done. All right, thank you.
All right.
Any other questions?
Do you have any more questions for HR?
No, I don't. Thank you.
No, thank you. All right. IT department, IT director Pakula. Nothing. All right. Public services department, public services director Clark.
Good evening, Commission, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Clerk Commissioner. Don't have a lot of report, but although I have a lot of activity that's going on, one of the biggest things I wanted to point out is that we had 25 calls of service for this month, and we were able to answer all of those calls on 217 work orders that were completed, and 192 of them, around 80% burn-through rate. We're on top of all of our planning programs that we have. We're in the neighborhood of 27 of our projects that are moving forward. Most recent, we're about to break ground on the project next door. So I've already had the meeting, and as soon as possible, we'll be starting on that project. Long time coming. I'm also in talks with getting the scope and fees for the roof repair. So that'll be happening here ASAP. And so that's just to name a few of the projects that we're moving forward. We also got the signatures from here recently for our project that's supposed to take place on 30th Street, as well as the sinkhole here on Southwest 52nd. Unfortunately, last week Wednesday, I wasn't at the Christmas party because right at 5 o'clock I received a call.
I did.
Or more like 10 o'clock. Oh, you saw it. Yeah, more like 10 o'clock. We had an issue over at Pembroke Park Lakes, and we were dealing with that issue. And then right after we were able to complete that issue, we had a 5 o'clock call about South Park Road. So we addressed that issue, and 28 hours later, we were able to close the ground up and start cleanup procedures and moving forward with that one. I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have some.
I got questions. Lift station 5, there was a problem. What's been done to solve it?
So lift station 5 is notorious, and I wish I could show you some pictures. I have them on my phone for the presentation. Lift station 4 and 5 are notorious. Unfortunately, there's a philosophical difference as to what can be flushed down the toilet. So we found socks, we found towels, and at that particular lift station. So we had put in a bypass pump, which unfortunately we were able to clog within a very short period of time. And so we determined that that would not hold. So we invested in what they call a chomper is what we call it, but it's a grinder pump. And they tout that this particular pump that we installed here recently at pump station number 5 will not clog. So it has been true to its word here since last week, Wednesday. We haven't had a single call over there. The issue in that particular location, sir, a mobile home less than 4 feet away from an active wet well lift station. And so the complaints are coming in about the noise associated if the wet well fills up, or the smell, and we're working diligently to mitigate those issues. But unfortunately, it's just too close to the lift station. We have to do what we have to do. There was a catastrophic failure there, and be clear, it has to do with our use of the town's infrastructure. We cannot process socks or towels or baby wipes or dental floss or any of that kind of stuff. It just doesn't work in our system. So hopefully this pump will do what it needs to be doing, and we won't have any more clogs, and then I'll go for installing more of those pumps throughout the town, and that will mitigate some of the issues. So that's what's going on with lift station number 5, sir.
All right. Yeah, I forwarded you the email from the resident 199 next door, and I went back over there today. It still smells pretty bad in the area.
So it's a real challenge to mitigate the smell. And if you saw on the stack, we pay a fee every month to have the smell mitigated, but you can put duct tape around that. Now, every time I see it, I take it off, because a lot of people don't know that that's methane gas that's being trapped in that wet well. What that means to you is methane burns. What that also means is that it'll explode. So as we have contactors opening and closing, they have what is called an arc effect. And that arcing and the methane gas, you get the picture. So unfortunately, there's not a whole lot we can do about that. I wish I could tell them something different. I truly do. But we're working diligently to try and solve that problem. And the second I come up with a solution, I'll come to you and ask for permission to move forward, and we'll enact it.
All right. All right. The leak again, or the busted line on Park Road. Same place.
No, sir. It's approximately 4 feet from the last break that we had in August 26, 2022. So essentially, 2 steps down. And the issue with that particular break is the way that the force of the gray water, as it came from under the ground, it disrupted the repair that we had made in that location. So all of the asphalt that we used as a repair was disrupted. So we had to dig out that entire section. So you'll see that particular area was dug out even larger in order to mitigate this issue here. And I spoke to the contractor. He's got 30 years of experience with this type of thing, and he identified one clear issue, and no one knows for sure exactly what happened, but he showed me in the length of pipe to where that there's a potential manufacturer's defect, and it could be minute, but under pressure over time, then this minute defect now becomes a large hole. It was not like the previous ones that we saw to where it looked like it was imposed. It looks like it was from the inside out, and just over time.
So you had a thinner wall
in that location, yes, sir. And so we're investigating that, and through our stormwater sewer plan, master plans that we're putting together, our master plans, we're identifying infiltration, water infiltration, and damage to pipes wherever we can. So we're trying to camera these things.
Yeah, if you're getting pipe cheap, there's a reason for it.
Yes, sir.
I got another question. So when we have these, I know they're classified as emergencies. I think we should be having the plumbing inspector inspect them before we close them back up, so we have record of what's there. I know that hasn't happened the last couple times because it's under an emergency, but I think we need these inspected prior to closing up. This pipe we know is in poor condition, and I do believe it's JC. This is part of our infrastructure repairs list, right?
Yeah, this is going to be
This is
repairs, but
this is
going to be included in the master plan. That
I think this is on our short list, right? This pipe.
this one and the one on 30th.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yes, sir. According to the Florida Building Code, the essential requirement is to make sure that it doesn't leak. And as the Public Services Director in that capacity in the emergency, I assume that responsibility. And that's the reason why I'm there on location, to ensure that we're not receiving any type of subpar performance, and to ensure that the actual location does not leak, that they use the proper fill, sub-rock, sand, and then close the ground up. So in that capacity, I assume that responsibility.
You got pictures, Rob, right?
Absolutely, of everything. From
Just saying, going forward, I'd like to have the inspector inspect these before we close them up. As I know your position is to stop the bleeding or stop the leakage, but their responsibility is also to inspect to make sure things are done properly.
Is that
That's why we have them.
Is that a directive to make sure that the plumbing
I think
inspector?
that's part of our permitting process.
Typically, in the utilities, in an emergency basis, we have a master permit that will allow for us to, in an emergency situation, to solve this problem.
I understand to stop the leak,
Yes, sir.
but before we close things back up, it might be in our best interest of the town to have it inspected prior to.
If that's the directive, sir, I'll operate in that.
That's the directive that.
Okay.
Okay.
You have anything else?
Yeah, how long before we continue work on 32nd and 33rd? The pavement?
Oh, that's he's putting together the plan now, and he's got to submit for permitting, and then once we get all of that squared away, we can move forward. So I met with him, we walked the site to get everything squared away, so we just got to go through the process.
Is there a time frame?
So no, that it's the holiday, so it disappeared on me. So I anticipate no sooner than the new year comes in, and we'll circle back and get that moving.
Is that the same thing with the sinkhole?
So no, that should be where I'm talking with the engineers now. So we're using one of our continuing services agreement with them, and so we're in negotiation to pick out a date and time on that. But I spoke to one of our engineering partners yesterday, as a matter of fact, about what was going on with that.
No time frame either.
No, I can get a specific date if you need one.
It's just been stagnant for a while.
Yes, sir. It's a lot of moving parts, but I can get you a specific date if that's what you need.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
All right. While you're here, Clerk Commissioner, you were going to oversee the roof situation. Where are we at from your perspective on the roof?
I spoke to Mr. Zell recently, and he's the property owner. What you talking about?
The roof.
Oh, the roof. We already discussed that with Rob.
Yes, sir.
Where are we at on it? You were to oversee it as the project.
Yeah, he's already put it out.
Yes, sir, for scope and fees, and then no sooner we get the documentation. Yeah, we were trying to get it in today for the meeting, and the qualifier over at Calvin Giordano couldn't get it to me in the presentation by this meeting. So that's the reason why you don't see it right now, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the plan of action for the repair or replacement?
So the actual replacement is moving forward. The repair should happen here no sooner than the holidays is over. They asked for 50% in order to start. So we have to pay them their 50%, and once they receive the 50%, then they can start with the
For repair or replacement?
for the repair. Yes, sir.
Are we in a position now for repair, or do we just need full replacement?
So the idea behind this was to get a full replacement, but through the directive of the commission said to get us a replacement
And then once we get a repair, then we'll move forward with the replacement.
The leaking stop.
Mayor,
Well, I hate to pay for things twice.
we just want to get the leaking stopped because we still have to go out to bid for the roof, and there's going to be rain between now and then, and so the whole point is get the repair done as economically as possible, so that the rain stops, and then when the roof gets repaired, hopefully within the next 6 to 8 months, we'll be putting a new roof. But at least this patch will get us, to a dry third floor.
I think we're to the point of a 12,000 square foot tarp over the top of the building. It's leaking everywhere. We got new tiles up on the third floor that are already getting damaged. There's the weird hose coming out in front of the major's office. She absolutely loves drinking water. You're welcome. Fresh drinking water. But it just continues. So let's just push this and get it done so we don't have any more damage to the building.
Absolutely, sir.
All right. I don't have anything else. Do you?
I don't.
No, I'll say.
Now, I wanted to circle back, if I could. Now, so the inspection of the pipe bursting in the ground. So once we make the repair, I just want to make sure we're 100% clear, is to leave the hole in the ground until we're able to make contact with the plumbing inspector to assure that the repair was done properly before we start to fill in and
Before you
patch.
backfill, that's correct.
Okay.
All right, there's other ways that we can open the road, whether it's metal plates, but we'll talk about
Understandable.
that.
I just want to make sure that there was no mistake in.
Nope. That's exactly it.
Okay. All right.
You think you'll be able to find a plumbing inspector at 3 in the morning?
That was the challenge, but I'll call our building department. Sure that they have somebody on speed dial that we can get over there.
All right. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Good.
Thank you.
All right. 15, old business. I didn't throw this on here, but Clerk Commissioner, what's the update on the beach house or the Bamboo Social Club and the plan of action to fix that?
Yeah, we found out that from Mr. Zell, who gave the town supposedly a 99-year lease on property. He said that right now his father is doing some cancer treatments or something, so he said after the first of the year he will set a meeting with me, and we can go over the paperwork, and we can get our attorney involved here, and if there's any questions on it, they should be answered at that meeting.
Okay, so what's the status of the building? Because I've gotten a couple calls that I couldn't even
Right now,
answer.
the status of the building is that we have it locked. Correct? It's locked now.
It is locked at this point.
It's locked up, so nobody can use it.
Okay, then when I get calls, I'm just going to refer them to you in regards to that building.
You could just tell them it's temporarily out of order.
I have done that, and they want to know more, and I don't know anything about it.
Well,
So-
I won't know more until Mr. Zell gets back.
Do we have a copy of this lease anywhere?
I have not found the lease. I have not found official action by the commission that has accepted this building. I haven't been able to identify any of the records.
I understand it was 1992, so
We looked in '92, and the only thing we did find a reference to a beach house, but at that point I think they were naming it after somebody, and we have not found anything in the minutes that accepted ownership of this building.
okay.
I think in 2 weeks we'll have a definitive.
That's not saying it didn't happen, though. That's the scary part.
We've seen it as the beach house, the clubhouse, the Bamboo Social Club. It's had multiple names. We're not exactly sure what it is.
Happening place. It really is.
It's on a foundation. It's not a trailer. It's got a lot of town money that's gone into it too. All right. Well, can you give us an update at the next meeting where we're at on that
If
place?
I know anything about it more, I will.
All right. New business 16.1. This is you, State of the Region Annual Awards.
Yeah, there's There's a fee requested from the town. You know about this. It's something that we renew every year. Is that correct, JC?
I don't recall this one being done every year, but we have sponsored like the Broward League of Cities and things like that. So,
I don't think we've ever actually attended this one.
but the MPO is having their annual the regional awards. We are a member of the MPO, and I believe Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins was looking for the minimal sponsorship,
The minimal one with the 10 guests.
and that includes a table.
February 2nd.
Yes.
All right, February 2nd at the Diplomat Beach Resort. You're looking for the sponsor of $3,000.
That's correct.
All right, and that involves 10 guests for the town. Any questions?
If you guys are okay with that, it's within my spending limit. I just wanted your.
Okay, are you all right with it?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
What else do I have here? Business. Nope, I don't have anything else here. All right. Discussion. Make sure I don't have anything else in my notes here. All right. Let's go to 18. Town clerk comments, election information.
Good evening, everyone. Next week we will be starting.
I don't think we can hear you. Is it on?
Am I on?
It is on.
Good evening, everyone. Next week we start with qualifying, which will be from Tuesday at noon until Friday at noon. I will be at Town Hall between 8 and 6 p.m. It'll be to be able to accommodate for individuals that get off work at 5. And I just want you to be aware of it. On our website, if you go to, I'll show you right now. If you go to our very front page, you will see that it states here election information, and you're going to click right there, and here are all the information you need to know. We have to, according to our ordinance, I have to have a register for the candidates. That is, it has all the information. And this is the last one, just so you see. This is the information of who is currently has submitted their information for a candidacy. Actually, that's not the most current. Anyway, and then the other thing you will also see is right here, says current candidates. And that's where you see all the individuals that have already submitted their candidacy documents. But again, none of this is set in stone until they come forth for qualifying. And but all the information is on the website if anybody has any questions for me.
We always have questions for you. So we always have questions for you.
I don't doubt it.
I don't have any at this time.
I'll call
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Town attorney, would you like to add anything?
Mayor and Commissioner, good evening. For the record, I'm still Sam Corin with the law firm of Corin. Good evening. We are honored and privileged to be sitting with you this evening to assist in whatever ways we can as your interim city attorney. I'm also happy to answer any questions regarding any item or matter that may be on the agenda or otherwise. I'm happy to respond publicly or otherwise, and welcome the opportunity of looking for a long-term relationship with the town. Thank you.
Thank you. Town manager, before we go forward, did we discuss
What?
meeting if we were about law firm or individual for the town going forward, what we were going to do?
That would be 20.2. That I was going to have a little discussion here.
Okay, perfect.
All
All
right.
right, 20.1 fire assessment, resolution 2022-023. Town attorney, could you read this by title only, please?
For the record, the item before the commission on the workshop agenda is Resolution 2022-023. It's a resolution of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, confirming the commission's intent to utilize the uniform method of levy and collection of non-ad valorem assessments within the town, which may be levied by the town in accordance with the provisions of Section 197.3632 of the Florida statutes for the purposes of the provision of fire rescue services and providing for an effective date. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Town manager.
Mayor, this resolution is I guess is the first step in implementing the process to establish a fire fee.
I'm glad we got to this point.
This is the first step. In order for the municipality to impose an ad valorem tax, there's several steps that several requirements that we have to meet. And the first one is to advertise this resolution 4 consecutive weeks prior to the adoption. So if you guys are in agreement with this resolution, we would advertise it. We already have it set to advertise. And then we would hear it. The resolution will be heard in February. This doesn't mean that we're going to automatically have a fee. From here, we do the study, establish what the fee would be, present that to the commission. If the commission likes that, then prior to adoption in an ordinance, we have to send out first-class mail to all the property owners. We have to advertise it again, notify it, or publish it in newspaper as well. And then at that point, once we know what the fee is, then the commission can implement that fee, impose the fee by ordinance. Again, this is the first step. This just authorizes us to look into it and get the numbers for you.
Any questions? All right.
Basically referred to the notice of intent, as the manager just explained. It is not a legal commitment, but it is a step to get to a legal answer, ultimately of which would be adopting a resolution by September 15th of 2023 to actually implement, after all those various sets of steps, the non-ad valorem assessment to get on the tax bill for October 1.
It's always a process.
This is an intricate one.
This is. Let's put this on consent.
It'll be in February, just so you know.
I'm aware.
Okay.
February, 20.2. Discussion on the process to hire permanent legal counsel or in-house attorney.
Mayor, this was, after the last meeting, now we have an interim town attorney. They'll be here as long as we need them. But I wanted to have a frank discussion with you, how you wanted to proceed moving forward, whether in-house or have a firm. In conversations with each of you individually, some of you have indicated that you would prefer a firm instead of an in-house attorney for various reasons. The firms can provide all legal services, from labor law, employment law, planning and zoning, regular general government law. So it's just a discussion. I want to see what direction you wanted to go in, and the time frame as far as when you want me to put out the RFP, if that's what you want, or if you want to wait a little bit.
I think it's in the best interest to proceed with finding a permanent legal firm for the town, instead of drag this out, like keep kicking the can down the road. Are you guys both in agreement with legal firm, or are you interested in in-house?
No, I think the firm is good.
I think we're all in agreement with the firm then. So, you want us to put this on the consent? Or do you just want direction?
This is just a direction. And
Okay.
then I can go ahead and prepare the
Are you guys okay with direction?
RFP.
We'll give direction to proceed forward.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
All right. Commissioner comments. Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
No, I don't have any at this time. Thank you.
Vice Mayor DeVille.
No, I don't have any today.
All right. I guess it comes down to me. I got a few things here. January, I'm heading to DC for the U.S. Conference of Mayors again, just to let you guys know. Also, I was requested to attend the climate change preparedness conference, which helps us with all our flooding and water down here in South Florida. Did you? I didn't see you there. Did you attend the climate
Last year?
on the 8th and 9th? There was a climate meeting. I didn't see you there.
No, I didn't.
You didn't go? Okay. We had a climate meeting on the 8th and 9th here in December, and we got a lot of information off of that. I think we're going the right direction with the town. I'm just going to attend this other conference, the Climate Change Preparedness Conference, and see what else we can get for federal funding to help us with our flooding in the town. I think we're down to one position left, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to wait before I book that one because it is the March 1st through 3rd during our election time. I was also asked to speak at a conference on civil rights. It's either March or April. I don't remember the date right offhand. I'm going to wait again before I decide to do that or not. But I thought that was kind of a pretty big deal that had a lot to do with us building a police department and moving forward and everything that I've been with and done with this town. So
Move out in Tallahassee?
no, that one is actually at a conference in London. So it's pretty cool. At least I think so. And we're actually getting some recognition in our small little town. I've been talking to Marie Woodson, our representative. We have a good relationship, and we're coming up with session. She's been getting everything that we're pushing forward. Hopefully we can make some progress this year in the House. We'll see what happens. It's all up to the governor on what he signs and what he doesn't for us. But I made some good connections up in Tallahassee. So sometime in January, our days, are you going to go up there with me?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
You just mentioned it right now.
Okay, it's coming up quick, so.
It is. And I just had a conversation today with Dave Segerson, who didn't have anything to report today. But tomorrow I'm going to have a conversation with him as far as identifying the dates that we need to
put it together. All right, so we'll make that happen. We'll go up there and take care of that. What else? I think we've come a long way in the last 4 years here in the town. I will tell you, our business owners, as I've been making my way around town, I've been handing out flyers, trying to get people to run for office, meeting with our business owners along the way, stopping in, saying hi. They're liking the direction the town is going. Everybody seems to love the new police department, except for those on the receiving end of violations. But that's par for the course. So it's kind of nice to hear from them. I did reach out to them all for our Christmas event. Unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of feedback. Me going door to door and talking to them, I think is going to make a good change for next year. We'll see how the election goes and see who's going to be here. It's one thing we need to address with that. Our charter is we could all be new commission here. So, all right, that's all I have on this. Announcements. We have the election qualifying begins on January 3rd, 2023 at noon. Ends on Friday, January 6th at noon. Planning, you can schedule an appointment for me on the 3rd at noon. I'll be there. Then Planning Zoning Board meeting will be Thursday, January 5th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Our regular commission meeting will be Wednesday, January 11th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Special magistrate hearing will be Wednesday, January 18th, 2023 at 9 a.m. Workshop commission meeting will be January 25th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Charter review committee meeting will be Monday, January 30th at 6 p.m. All right, everyone's favorite part. Time is now 7:22 p.m. Adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.